September 23rd, 2017. Big day. Joel Guth, IQ Power Tools. Tell us what that day means.
Pete, that is the day that the new OSHA Silica standard goes into effect across the U.S.
So all these special enforcement agents for the Occupational Safety and Health Administration will be out on job sites looking for exposures to silicates. Is that correct?
They're looking for the dust cloud. OSHA wants you, and safety experts teach that the first thing you do is eliminate the hazard.
Okay.
The second line is to substitute the material.
Okay.
So in our case, they want to substitute, eliminate all the materials on the job site that contain silica. That's not good for us.
No, not good for us.
The third line is engineering controls.
Okay.
And that is the one that we'll spend most of our time trying to teach and educate people on their options, is engineering controls, either following table 1 that has wet cutting, or using vacuum systems or local area ventilation to eliminate or remove the dust from the area.
Okay.
We promote and push the tools with integrated vacuum system, filter system, and dust containment that eliminates the hazard right at the source of the cut, captures that dust and contains it.
Okay, so that engineering control is done. Now we move to administrative controls, right?
Administrative controls, which means if you're working in an area and there's some dust being generated, then you have to control people from being in that area. You've got to cordon it off. You've got to educate the people around there that they cannot go within that work area, which has its own difficulties itself, especially if you've got multiple trades trying to work on a building, in a room, or on a job site. And then the last line of defense, what OSHA says you can't use as an everyday occurrence, is PPE, where you're going to respirators, which also opens you up, in this case, to a respiratory training program. Well, a respiratory training program is 100 to 200 pages and very difficult to implement. A person like you can't use a regular respirator because you have facial hair.
Yeah.
So there's challenges along the way, but the new OSHA standard helps you, guide you to what the solutions are in putting together a silica exposure control plan, how to implement that, how to teach it to your people, train them, and then get a competent person on each of your job sites where you have silica exposure.
Now, a lot of people in the hardscape industry will think that the amount of silicates that I'm inhaling around my job site isn't a problem. But let me see, I think I have here, these are the ones that we carry in our trailer to kind of show. Can you explain?
Let's start with a small one right here.
Okay. Okay, you can barely see how much is in
Barely
that.
see that. This is the allowable total dust, assuming only 10% silica, for 1 week per the new standard.
What's this next one?
This is 52 weeks, or 1 year of total dust exposure under the new standard.
That's probably less than cutting one 4x8 paving stone, am I correct?
You are correct, because this is cutting one paver, 4-inch wide, 60 mil thick. This is a dust from one paver cut.
1 year, one cut.
One cut.
Lastly, what I call spinning the wheel, gambling. Because one of these thousands of OSHA inspectors is riding through a neighborhood, sees a cloud of dust coming up from behind a home, pulls in, walks into the backyard and finds someone working in a cloud of dust. What are the fines?
The fines start at $7,500 per person per day.
What if it happens again?
The second occurrence for the same company, even if it's a month or two later on another job site,
Even a different crew.
$75,000 per person per day.
So I could lose all the profit I'm going to make that year potentially.
Yes.
And second infraction, I could lose my entire business by not following the new silica regulation.
Reduce that risk, train your people, implement a good exposure control plan in line with the silica rule, teach it to your people, educate all of them, and buy the engineering control methods that you need. Use them on your job site. They will save you time and money along the way.
Thank you, Joel Guth.
Thank you.